Caring science is different from conventional science. It adds to it. It's actually just more science. Conventional science is concerned with biology, chemistry, physics, astronomy, and caring about these things is part of what the caring science is all about. But it's also caring about the whole human, not just the human body. Caring sciences, the caring science is about the emotional, the mental, the financial, and the social. Caring science doesn't just want to make us care more all the time, it also wants to help us learn how to care less when it's time to go within and be less responsive and less on the hook for what's going on outside. So, caring science can turn up the caring and it can turn down the caring. Caring science is not only about healing the body, but about healing the heart, healing the mind, healing the money, and also healing society, healing relationships and reputations. So I'm very excited and grateful for the opportunity. The unitary field is the thing before there is anything. The unitary field is where all the things come from. We don't really know in this moment where all this stuff is coming from, these lights, these sounds, these emotions, these thoughts, this money, this reputation. It's all a product of the past. The past, whatever its nature is, has brought these things to our attention, these five categories of pressure or input. We have physical inputs, emotional inputs, mental, financial, and social inputs, as well as outputs. We have outputs of each of these five kinds. And the quantum field or the unitary field is the unconditional. If the human being is a physical, emotional, mental, financial, and social creature or wave of intersecting probability data structures, then the human spirit is the thing within us that always wants more. No matter how good the situation is, the human spirit wants more. No matter how bad the situation is, the human spirit wants more. The unitary field is unconditional. Whereas my conditional self, Kaveh, the small me, is a character, is an avatar, is highly conditional, highly limited in his perspective. I can be wrong, but the unitary field cannot be wrong. Everything cannot be wrong. Everything is everything. Infinity cannot be wrong. So that was more than three sentences, but that's the unitary field. And what does caring as consciousness, energy, intentionality, and human presence mean? I think I just covered that. What we're talking about is really having vibrational consciousness because we do know that this is all vibratory. The photons hitting my Roy G. Biv frequencies of light when it's refracted and reflected off of various surfaces is vibrational. The rarefaction and compression of air as it hits my tympanum to create sound is vibrational. My circulatory system, my cardiac, my cardiopulmonary system, my neurological system, the sexual cycles, eating and pooping and peeing and sleeping and waking and the sun, these are all cycles. They're cyclical. Now, most waves or frequencies are not visible to us. They're either too fast to see or hear or feel, or too slow. So we have lights. We don't see them as vibrations. We see them as a solid structure, but they are vibrations. We don't see the sun moving in the sky, but it is. So these cycles that are either too small or too big or too slow or too fast are always there, even if our intuitions don't uh, reveal them, just because our particular interface is not designed to see all the vibrations. We are fooled into thinking that what we see is all that's there, and that's obviously not true. So that's my what I think about caring as consciousness, energy, intentionality, and human presence. In my own words, describe the meaning of the 10 Caritas process. Caritas, I've heard it pronounced both ways. I like Caritas because it rhymes with Veritas, and I look forward to hearing feedback about that. But as for the first one, my reflection is that first, I like that these are processes. They're not simply facts. The veritas idea of truth as facts is also flawed. Truth is a process, it's not a collection of facts. Just like science is a process, it's a way of being, a way of thinking, not a collection of facts. So the Caritas are beautifully described as processes rather than objects or facts. So embrace altruistic values and practice loving kindness with self and others. I think the most beautiful way to consider this is why it's sometimes hard. Sometimes it's hard to be there for others because we feel like we are not being cared for ourselves, or we have not taken good enough care of ourselves. And so that's my reflection on Caritas number one. We want to embrace altruistic values and practice loving kindness, and it's a journey of self-discovery to find out when we can't, where we hit our limits in doing that. Number two, instill faith and hope and honor others. Same thing. We absolutely want to be a positive, healing influence on others and empowering them, but we can't do that unless we have it ourselves. So there is really no boundary between ourselves and others. Because if we don't have something, we can't give it. And whatever we have, we are actually helplessly giving. And so instilling faith and hope and honor in others comes from having faith and hope and honor ourselves. To be sensitive to self and others by nurturing individual beliefs and practices. This is beautiful because everyone's at a different place. So we want early in life to have insensitivity training. And we've all gone through insensitivity training, whether it was intentional or not. And now it's time to become sensitive again, now that we've established ourselves as adults who can focus on specific things without distraction. Now it's time to let some distractions in and to actually hear other people's beliefs and feelings and how we may have affected them that we didn't expect to. And so that's my sense of the third. Develop healing, trust, and caring relationships. This is beautiful. And it's all about depending on each other and forgiving each other when we do not, when we're disappointed. If you depend on me and I fail you and you forgive me, then that is really what helping, trusting, caring relationships are based on. Because we can't help each other if we don't know in advance that if we fail to help each other, then we will be forgiven. If I try to help you and I fail and you're forgiving to me, then the chances of me trying again are obviously much higher. Promote and accept positive and negative feelings as you authentically listen to another's story. To me, this is very similar to three, to be sensitive to self and others by nurturing individual beliefs and practices, because the story is where the practices and beliefs come from. My story, if you listen to my story, you'll hear where my beliefs and practices come from, both good and bad, both my useful beliefs and practices and also my less helpful beliefs and practices. So promote and accept positive and negative feelings. Exactly. Hear the story, hear the good parts and the bad parts, hear what lessons we've learned, also what lessons we might want to let go of. And if you listen to my story, that's a huge service to me. You might think me telling my story is a huge service to you. And in that case, we both win. Number six, use creative scientific problem-solving methods for caring decision making. I love it. This is exactly right. This is actually the science of morality. This is also the marriage of sense and soul. Science is all about the senses. The soul is all about morality. What we want to do is actually understand what we are doing to each other. So if I hurt you and I want to know that, I want to know if I hurt you, I have to actually be able to tolerate finding that out. And the best way to learn how to tolerate finding that out is to have forgiveness, to have understanding. Then we become more curious about it. If I hurt you and we have understanding and trust and friendship, then you can tell me that I hurt you and I won't flip out. But if we don't have that, then maybe you won't tell me. And then it'll just be passive aggression and undermining me behind my back, or you might attack me for having hurt you, both of which are understandable. It's understandable to suppress your anger if that's what you learn to do. It's also understandable to express your anger if that's what you learn to do. And what we're doing through caring science is learning if there is any other way. Can we actually heal the anger? Can we forgive the trespass? So I'm very excited to use creative scientific problem solving, use experiments, not just physical experiments, emotional, mental, financial, and social experiments for caring decision making, because you care about your money, you care about your reputation, you care about your feelings, you care about your mind, as well as caring about your body. And so all of these things have their vital signs. All of these things can get sick. And when we remove the shame around those sicknesses, by realizing that we're all simply data structures waving or undulating in the universe, in the unitary field, then we can be much more forgiving of our own and others' failures to live up to various expectations. It's not that the expectations are necessarily wrong. It's just that we have learned to reject expectations because of our association of expectations with shame, pressure, guilt, stress, anxiety, procrastination, etc., etc. So I'm very excited. Share teaching and learning that addresses the individual needs and comprehension styles. I love that. This is a video format. I think the pointillism and the text is all super useful. We'll just triangulate on this one message from all these different angles of learning styles and forms of media. Create a healing environment for the physical and spiritual self, which respects human dignity. Exactly. Create a healing environment by embracing the fact that illness happens. It's okay that we are wounded, ignorant, immature, with blind spots, and arrogant, and impatient, and annoyed, and irritated, and we lose our shit. It's all okay. It's all on the map of human experience. The caring science doesn't exclude any of these experiences from its purview. It just has a map, and it says, this is where you are now emotionally. This is where you are now mentally. And so it ends up creating a healing environment because it embraces illness rather than pushing it away. It absorbs illness rather than pushing it away, and creates a healing environment. Not where we cannot talk about our problems, but exactly where we can talk about our problems and expect them to be healed. We heal ourselves, we heal others, others heal themselves, and others heal us. Because we do have the power to hurt each other, and we do have the power to ignore each other, but we also have the power to heal each other, which often gets less of the less attention than it deserves, less airtime than it deserves. So we're going to give healing each other some airtime. Assist with basic physical, emotional, and spiritual human needs. I think that's beautiful. My conceptualization is that we are the human spirit learning how to play the human instrument, learning how to pluck the strings, turn the dials, push the buttons. And so the human instrument is a five-dimensional interface, a five-dimensional probability waveform or data structure. And those five planes of existence are the physical, emotional, mental, financial, and social. And we are stuck in that web. For the time when we are alive, we are trapped in this web of five planes of existence with other people. In fact, our conditional self is the web. Our conditional self is our physical, emotional, mental, financial, and social profile. So to assist with basic physical, emotional, and spiritual human needs is to be dependable to yourself and the selves of others. So you, as the human spirit, be dependable to yourself, your physical self, your emotional self, your mental self, your financial self, your social self, or your conditioned self, and then also take care of others' selves and teach others to take care of their own selves, and the selves of others, which includes yours. Be open to mystery and allow miracles to enter. It couldn't be more beautiful, because we are always impossible adjacent in science. In science, we're always impossible adjacent. And so that's what a breakthrough is. A breakthrough is starting with where you're at and then breaking through. We have a certain sphere of influence, and you have a physical, emotional, mental, financial, and social sphere of influence. And if you want your sphere of influence to grow, if you want to become more magnetic, if you want to become a larger center of gravity, be it physical, emotional, mental, financial, or social. If you want people to depend on you, to be able to depend on you, you have to grow. You have to grow. And to grow, you have to just find out where your limits are. It's actually quite easy. You find out your limits. You go through your day. You say, I hit my physical limit. I hit my emotional limit. How do I know that? I hit my mental limit. How do I know that? I hit my financial limit. I hit my social limit. Just keep trying to push it. And the Caring Science is a coaching program. Coaching is about performance, and performance is about your ability to deliver results. And so all of us deliver results every day, and we do witness miracles when we let them in. Beautiful things that we never expected to happen can happen. And that's what science is. Science creates miracles, creates magic. If you look at how things were just 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, what we're living in right now is in so many ways a magical place compared to that. But even that was a magical place. So, really, what we're doing is always getting used to or getting accustomed to miracles that are all around us and then taking them for granted and then not calling them miracles. That's really one of the travesties of the split between science and religion, that we're going to start to reintegrate through Caring Science. We're going to start to reintegrate science and spirituality while keeping a close eye on superstition also, because that's obviously one of the main accusations against this kind of conversation. But I'm really excited because this is a great team to do this with, and I can't wait to continue the process. So that's I was going to close it up, but that's number. Let me pause this. No. In my own, yeah, that's it. And embed a photo. Okay, so now I'm going to embed a photo. And thank you very much for listening to this. And I hope it was helpful. And I can't wait to keep going with everyone. Thanks.